Treasure goblins can now invade the pit, alone or with all their friends, with bosses, goblins, and treasure chests all capable of dropping loot. Pit mastery objectives are now fully formalized, with the tracker clearly showing both party and personal progress. Boss encounters waste no time. Bosses now ambush your party by spawning directly on top of you, and without clearing existing enemies. On top of that, the pit will now pull from the tower boss roster.
Wait, I missed some things here.
Warding. Some of the improvements you've seen in the tower are coming to the pit, and we've also removed a few legacy systems along the way. The pit has grown,
pit
literally.
Depth 1.
Every run now spans 5 full floors, clearly marked by pit depth, so you always know how deep you've gone and how close you are to the finish. Floor generation has been rebuilt from the ground up for smoother flow, less frustrating dead ends, and a more consistent rhythm that keeps you moving forward. Nearly every environment in the game can now
I don't like having a bunch of loading screens
from both expansions and past seasons. And there are rare floors where you'll stumble onto brand new layout mashups found nowhere else. To keep the focus on action, we've also removed death and resurrection penalties along with boss shadow attacks. Spawning in the pit has been tuned to feel fair, deadly, and exciting. Shrines now use a flat spawn chance, giving each run a more consistent baseline, while still allowing for the occasional lucky spike. Almost every variant of every monster family can now appear, including very rare and special populations.
So like I was saying, the pit is going to go away from, because a lot of these changes are removing the random factor to the pits, which even if you're having a competitive type zone, you want less random factors, because that means that someone shouldn't have an advantage over somebody else because of just random RNG. It should just be based on how good their build is and how well that they like manage the zone that they're fighting in. But a lot of these changes mean that, like I was saying before, the pit is not going to be a scale for like how good you're doing in the season, how good your build is playing. That's going to be like reserved specifically, I think, for the tower.
Progress now scales with real danger.
I forgot the campfire was today.
Enemies push the bar faster. And yes, treasure goblins can now invade the pit.
You made it.
Alone or with all their friends.
And I'll probably do like an overview of the things. I should be taking notes, to be honest. Fuck.
Pit mastery objectives are now fully formalized, with the tracker clearly showing both party and personal progress. Boss encounters waste no time. Bosses now ambush your party by spawning directly on top of you, and without clearing existing enemies. On top of that, the pit will now pull from the tower boss roster, injecting even more variety and unpredictability into every run. Since we introduced the tower and leaderboards, it's been incredible to listen to your feedback, watch the competition evolve, and keep learning right alongside the community. Now we're bringing a focused set of updates, more reasons to climb, clearer ways to compete, and smoother moment-to-moment play. The Artificer Stash is a new feature coming to the tower. This provides valuable caches that contain items with guaranteed greater affixes, along with currencies and even lore books. These treasures can only be earned by climbing the tower, and first-time completion of higher tower tiers awards the Artificer's favor. The new build viewer captures a snapshot of every build that ranks on the leaderboard. When you click a top player's leaderboard entry, the viewer displays that saved snapshot, making it easier for everyone to see which builds.
Hopefully this is accessible, because like I don't understand why anyone makes their account private on this game unless you're cheating. On most games, you get what I mean? So hopefully this is not related to the like view their profile, and this is just view their build and they can't like turn it off, because that's like super annoying to me.
Are performing best in tower competition.
But this is great.
New environments, monsters, and bosses are arriving to keep the tower experience fresh. In addition to starting a tower run when you exit the circle, your run will now automatically begin after a brief countdown. And hey, did you mess up the run? Did you just barely make it? Did the orb goblin run away? Is that the best you got? The Artificer himself will now offer some commentary. Please try your best. He is watching.
I love that.
Lastly, we're making
He's gonna be talking shit while you fuck up
and fairer. Based on player
People are
feedback,
gonna hate it.
leaderboards now start on Thursdays after a release or patch. This permits the time needed to address any major issues before the community-wide competitive aspect of the tower begins. That's a quick look at what's ahead with Lord of Hatred and Season of Reckoning. We'll have more details in our blogs, patch notes, and deep dives. So if something here caught your eye, you'll be able to dig in right away. See you all in Sanctuary. Welcome.
Is this Q&A?
Whew. Okay, that is a lot to chew on. As Zovan mentioned at the end of that video, we will have our official blog launching after the stream, so you can go and check that out if there's extra details you want to chew on. But additionally, we will have Q&A towards the end of the stream, so if you have any questions that weren't answered in that overview video, feel free to drop them in chat. We'll grab those and answer those close to the end of the stream.
What I will say is that on top of all the things that we already knew was happening and that we had an idea of what was happening, like some of the quality of life shit they're adding is actually huge, and I did not expect it with how much other shit was going into this update / expansion that they were gonna have. Like, you always assume they're gonna have some like minor quality of life stuff, like, oh well, now this is fixed and like this bug that's existed in the game for years, but like they're literally adding things like, you know, the loop filter is like a good example, but that was, people already knew about that, and that's something they've talked about for a long time. But even something as small as like the map overlay and the Pathfinder and like little things and like stacking currencies up to 1,000, things like that, you just don't expect them to be tackling at the same time as all the other shit that they have going on. So I'm actually impressed by that.
But who better to get into everything with me than a very familiar cast of crew? We've got Colin, Zovan, and Art back on the stream. Welcome, fellas.
Hey.
Yeah, great to be back.
Great to have you guys here. So I know we did go through, you know, everything coming with Lord of Hatred in that overview. We do also have Season of Reckoning launching at the same time as the expansion. And I know this is going to be a little bit different of a season because it is coming out in tandem with the expansion. What can players kind of expect to see for Season of Reckoning?
Yeah, so
this is
as
not
covered,
a very
there's a huge slew of optimization updates. Skill trees have been revamped for every single class. There's just a ton there. In addition to that, season rank has actually expanded. There's more of it. It's over 100 different objectives to conquer. And
the US will be getting the X-Pack on the 27th,
as we said.
Confirmed.
But yeah, this will be kind of a special season to keep focus on the expansion. And the idea is future seasons will return more to the regular stuff that we're used to.
And you'll still be able to play the campaign and all that good stuff, both in seasons and eternal, whatever tickles your fancy.
Mm-hmm. And I love to for Season of Reckoning because so much of it relies on seasonal rank. There's so much that you get to passively do just as you're playing the game, right? So it's not as though you have to.
4
It silos
p.m.
you to a totally
PST?
different content piece. You get to chip away on it just as you're playing through the expansion and everything else. So
Yeah, there's also a lot of goodies packed.
So that's
in.
5 p.m. for me.
Yeah, a lot of rewards spread throughout.
Yeah, gotta love some rewards. But of course, I do really want to know from you guys, with the expansion coming out soon, with so much launching, what are you all most excited for players to get their hand on for the Lord,
this is gonna be nuts.
for the Lord of Hatred expansion?
I paused a lot because
I would say
that's what I do.
That exists in the game.
On things that I wanted to talk about.
Probably the skill trees. I think, you know, we've talked to death about it, but really it's hard to sort of understate or overstate, I should say, how transformative it is to actually play with it. Like, it's actually hard for us to play.
There were cool things. There was cool things. And I know some people just want to watch it all the way through and then they go back and scan. But like, sometimes I'll forget about that shit.
So many more builds.
I didn't even start taking notes till like 5 minutes ago.
In the video that we touched, like over 200 aspects. We've also added just a ridiculous amount of uniques to the game. You know, we've ensured that like literally every skill in the game has a unique that can talk to it and interface with it. And it all works with the variants and the sort of upgrades in the skill tree. And I just can't wait to see kind of all the crazy things that players cook up. Like, a huge goal was to like blow out the number of builds in the game. Like, if you love build crafting, or if you love making your own sort of zero to hero journey with tons of weird odds and ends in your build, like, this is the expansion for you. And I just can't wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, across the video and even in the blog that's going to recap a lot of what we talked about here. There's only so much,
because they're kind of completely changing the type of ARPG that Diablo 4 is. Because for a long time, it's just been like, it's been what you would imagine a AAA ARPG is. And now they're shifting to more of like a last epoch pseudo PoE style ARPG all of the sudden. It's kind of nuts.
Can do to kind of describe how all these changes are going to be. You really are just going to have to jump in game and experience it for yourself.
This finally feels like a AAA game again, I think. But that's the thing, is like AAA has become, over the last like 6 years, insult because of how poorly AAA games are made. So that's why I said Diablo 4 has been like the AAA ARPG, because it's like super basic and super appeals to a large audience, but it doesn't have the depth. And like, if you want games with depth, you go to other ARPGs. Now, I loved what Diablo 4 is for what it is, and even the changes they made before this expansion have made the game feel a lot better. But like at the core concepts of like build construction and just like how everything functions in the game has felt like that. Like the AAA, okay, we got to appeal to everybody, but now they're just like all of a sudden changing it to more of like that in-depth crafting systems, build variety, and we don't even know how this will all work. You know, like in theory, it all sounds great. We'll see how it actually happens, if there is actual build variety, and if there is the customization that you can take a build and, you know, you might have like similar parts of it, but like having your build guide is going to be, you might be using the same skill for power, but your build guide is significantly different than somebody else that is using the same skill for their power, just because of little tweaks that you can make that cause something slightly different. So yeah,
all of us play Diablo so differently, and I think I saw in chat as that came up, Skydragon said, "Inject that into my veins." So I think that kind of pretty well. So pretty pumped about those changes. But yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Zavin?
Warplanes, hands down. I'm so excited. We've never really.
Just wonder how much of the new stuff I'll be able to play without the expansion.
Modify all of our endgame activities. It really.
Well, like the majority of it, you're still gonna have access to. You get what I mean? Like, you're going to still get the Roderick Cube. You're going to still be able to, like, every class, even not including the new classes, are still getting their full trees changed and updated. And all the items are still going to be updated and whatever. But there's probably going to be unique items or, like, unique currency. For instance, like with the last expansion, they introduced runes. And a lot of people were annoyed that that was connected to the expansion. I'm assuming there's going to be stuff like that with this too, where maybe there's certain recipes in the Roderick Cube you can't make because this resource only drops from content in the expansion or whatever. I'm assuming there will be something like that, but for the most part, I feel like 80% of the changes are going to be accessible even if you don't have the expansion.
Is, you know, when we say like you get to make your own endgame, we really mean it. We have 100 nodes.
This isn't a revamp or expansion as much as a full retard on all the backend stuff.
You know, make choices in one tree that modify another one. So there's just a bunch of variety for players to kind of chew on, sink their teeth into. I can't wait. It's such a different way to think about what you do in your moment to moment in the end game.
That was really close. That was real close,
awesome.
Infinite.
Yeah, I think much like the skill tree, you know, it's fun to tinker and craft all these things, and then it's even more fun to send it out into the wild to see what crazy combinations people come up with.
Yeah, Renee hit 300, Morgan.
All the skill tree stuff we're doing, right? You get to change kind of how you do the end game and also what your end game is. You get to control kind of both halves of this now.
Mm-hmm. That's rad. That's rad.
But yes, mate, what I will say is if you don't have the expansion, you can't fish, bitch. So suck on that.
How about you, Art?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what kind of builds people cook
paywalled
up
fishing
that we've never even thought of, right? So, for me, I mean, definitely excited to have people try all the new systems. You know, skill tree. There's a talisman. There's the cube. We've kind of redone everything.
They added fishing to the game.
But really what excites me most is just
useless,
kind of players experiencing all of this together, like
it's
holistically
tied to
in
the expansion as far as I can
full,
understand.
Like for a brand new Diablo experience, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's something that we actually do point out in the blog that I think is really exciting too.
That we touched on a little bit in the video.
Okay. Like, there is so much that's changed the game,
dude.
Regardless of whether or not you own the
pirate
expansion.
game?
So if you're just coming back to, you know,
have you been playing that?
Play Diablo over the weekend. You just
the funniest thing about that game is like 80% of the mechanics are straight out of Assassin's Creed Black. Ooh. See what you've done to me, Infinite? You almost made me fuck up there. That would have been a bad one. That would have been a bad one. You did this. Black flag. Okay? Flag with an L. But the funny thing about it is that they took all those mechanics from that game and just made a pirate game, and everything I've heard about it is great. And then the stupid game that Ubisoft had been developing for like 15 years, the Skull and Bones, was a complete flop, and just like, you know, it's just, it makes me, I want to play Assassin's Creed again now. Assassin's Creed 4, because of watching Windrose. Because like the sea shanties, the ship fighting mechanics are the exact same from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And then, yeah, like so many of the mechanics are just
want to get it back into it for a little bit. So much of the game does feel different, and you know,
that was almost a weak ban at the worst possible time.
So much has changed for anyone who plays Diablo. So, like you said, all players get to experience it at the same time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Really
they
cool
just
changes.
took
I actually saw a comment.
What they needed from that game. That's what I'm saying is so disappointing about Ubisoft.
Like, designed and worked on the Warlock
is that they can't just do that. They created the game. They can't figure out how to just like make another game.
Absolutely the same team
with those mechanics.
And updated every single class, and just so you don't even need the Warlock or Paladin to
put it out.
Experience sort of this new, I would say, generation of class, which is super cool.
That's unreal. That's awesome. Excellent. Okay, so I know we've got some questions that we've gathered in Twitch chat. We're actually going to kick it over to Q&A now and answer some of your questions that you've been dropping in.
Do we have to watch
so
Q&A? Is there anything valuable
we've got
from this?
a question here.
I hate that
We've
Q&A.
seen a lot of reactions and feedback on inventory. Can you guys speak a little bit on some of the things we've seen?
Yeah, so I think some of this has been reaction to some of the reviews and stuff that have been coming out. And for what it's worth, anyone who knows Marak, our favorite dancing Fallen, he was kind of available in those things, and so we had a lot of people loading up on stuff. Generally speaking, we've made a lot of changes to the game, which actually I'll let these guys kind of chip in and give some answers to. But starting with, we actually have, if you buy Lord of Hatred, you get a stash tab. So inventory pressure has been something we've been thinking about how to relieve, and that's one way to do it, but there's a bunch of other stuff we want to do it. So if there's something you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like one of the changes
so they also
that,
added a stash tab with buying the expansion.
To reduce and remove incense and elixirs, because it felt like it was one of those like really annoying uptime games that just wasn't super fun in the end game. To compensate, something we saw people use these for is the XP boost. So we've actually like massively increased the amount of XP you get from monster kills while leveling up, which actually translates much more into the difficulty tiers as well, because a lot of the difficulty tier XP comes from monster kills. So we've massively increased the amount of XP for monster kills. You don't have to go and do quests now to necessarily get the max level quickly, which is awesome. Art, I know we've also done a ton of stuff on lair bosses.
Yeah, definitely. I think across all kind of inventory tabs, lowering inventory pressure was really, really important. So you saw in the video, like everything that's stackable stacks to 1,000 now. We've removed runes, so they all fit in your inventory. We've consolidated a bunch of other things like layer boss keys. Something else that we've done with the Haraja Cube is just give an outflow for a lot of items that you may pick up that are like, once you get into the end game, oh, it's not really worth my time using blue and yellow tributes. I'm like, okay, cool. You can take those, you can combine those up into higher rarity tributes. And we've done this across.
See, that's the kind of shit that is great. Is taking shit that you're never going to use, like Infernal Hordes. You get the Infernal Hordes for 5 waves or 3 waves or whatever. Man, dude, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. But being able to turn all that shit into the version of what you actually want to use is huge. So like Undercity tributes, Infernal Horde keys, any of that stuff, being able to just throw that in your cube and turn it into the upgraded version so you can just get rid of them all. Because a lot of times you get to a point where you're just like breaking or like throwing them on the ground or selling them or whatever. And it wasn't really that big an issue in terms of like stash space or like, because they only took up 1 slot, but it was still annoying.
A bunch of things, so it should be generally much easier to keep everything in your
stale
bags.
Inventory items getting repurposed is huge. Yeah. And we don't even know what that's going to entail overall. So
with like several thousand stacks, it's Marak and like PTR boost. You could go do that today and take a screenshot and it looked terrible. But that's what it would. what it was.
Thanks for clarifying that, Colin. That's great. I've got a question from Galbatorix_90. My question to the devs, really excited about everything.
Dude, that's a fucking Aragon reference. Shout out that guy. It's my favorite book series of all time.
Thing coming with Season of Reckoning and the Lord of Hatred expansion. Could you share how the team is approaching the evolution of endgame systems
I'm gonna start reading
to create
those books
a cohesive gameplay loop that keeps players engaged across both seasonal and the expansion's long-term progression?
I think I can take a stab, and we can probably all take a stab. Yeah. We'll try and keep it short, because we could probably talk about that for like an hour.
Of course.
You know, I think like really Lord of Hatred is the ultimate, I would say, build crafting and power fantasy. It starts with the skill tree. We've updated a ton of the foundations of all the classes. We've even updated a bunch of keywords and mechanics. You'll get to experience that when you play the game, and we're very excited about that. So we've updated the foundation. We've reworked a lot of the itemization and updated it and upgraded it. So like if there's things you like about it today, we've massively improved it. And then, you know, the power fantasy side, what is a better power fantasy than being able to influence the world around you beyond just your character? And that's what War Plans represents. That's what the meta progression trees represents. So, you know, it's really about giving you a lot of control and giving you a lot of things to tinker with. Our hope is that you only see like a fraction of this every season that you play. Where I would be shocked if you're able to play every single class, every single build, every single War Plans permutation. So I'm rambling, but I'll toss it over to these guys.
Yeah, I'll throw out there that, you know, one of the things that helps kind of the end game feel really good is making sure there isn't a bunch of bloat. And, you know, the game's in its, you know, has a couple years on it right now, just making sure that we go through and are diligent about like, hey, is that serving a purpose in the game still? Does it need to be there? How important is it really? There's things like elixirs and incense.
Dude, I will say that this mindset is actually huge out of them. Like the fact that they're viewing this, and like I said, I think a huge part of this is tied to Rod Ferguson leaving. Like, it's easy to just keep doing what you're doing if you're still making money and it's still going okay. It's a huge risk out of them to do what they did. And I don't think that Rod Ferguson was the type of guy to take a risk, because he sucks. Let's be honest. Everywhere he's gone has sucked. Ever since Gears of War, he's never done anything good in his career. So to appease the top people, he was probably just like I wonder how many of these devs, and this is what makes it hard with like a AAA game and studios and whatever, how many of these people were like throwing these ideas out for the last years, being like, hey, we should try to do this. And then, because we're seeing just like a total shift in mindset and culture and the design of the game since Rod Ferguson left. And all of it almost exactly correlates with him leaving, and like now all this crazy shit happening. They're taking a step back from the dev point of view and are trying to see it from, oh yeah, Rod is a tool, plain and simple. Yeah, but like I said, I've been saying this.
They're just like a tax on your time to go make sure you have
he destroyed
and things like that, but also down to
Diablo as much as he possibly could.
Even need that many?
And now they're trying to like rebuild, because like the sad thing is you start hating these devs because these are the people that you see on screen all the time. And, you know, people like Joe Shelley, who always looked like he was on the verge of like, okay, I can't say that, on the verge of major breakdown. But yeah, and then you're like, oh, well, it's these people's fault, but you don't even think about it. It's the guy in charge. He's the one that is taking everything and saying yes or no. And then, you know, and also trying to like appease to the higher ups and not take risk because he wants his resume to stay good or whatever. And like, it's easy to just keep doing if it's doing enough, but like to do something like this is a huge risk for them. And I think in the end is going to pay off, but they could have just kept doing what they were doing. They could have just introduced Mephisto and introduced the new classes and had this expansion happen like the last expansion, just introduce a couple new dungeons or whatever and be like, oh, well, that's good enough. And as long as you know, make $1 billion, then who cares, you know? And not actually think about the like long-term health of the game and like what Diablo fans want from the game. And I think a lot of these devs that are still on the team are genuine Diablo fans. Okay.
Through the game and find these places where it's like actually removing something, streamlining something helps make everything better. Right, it uplifts everything else because now you don't have to waste your time.
Pretty sure that's not a term you can say on Twitch.
That helps everything be more connective, right? Because they're not having to kind of connect to a dead part of the game that doesn't really matter. Like Elixirs, again, is a really good example of what was it really doing for you other than an XP boost? Okay, fine, here. Monsters just give you better XP, now you don't have to do Elixirs, right?
Yeah, I like that. It's like eliminating all the chores. And I think, you know, one of the great ways that's making the war plans too that you've mentioned before is how, like, if you don't have a key for a particular activity that you're getting into, it just makes one for you. It's not like, oh, you don't have to go into the world to get a, you know, a layer boss key that you need. The game is just like, no, you got it. You're good. You can just
and then also, if you find a key you do like and you want to run, you can just run that instead. Yeah. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing I'll add,
word.
I'll try to keep it brief.
That's
is
like
that,
a
one of our
derogatory
goals was
term.
Really
if you said he looks like a lesbian, that's not a derogatory term.
And we've done that with the skill tree, with itemization, with war plans, with the cube, and really, I think.
When's the update come out? April 27th at
about there's so many different
4
things
p.m.
PST.
PST.
You, like realistically won't be able
in
to
America.
See in one season.
It's going to be different if you're in.
Kind of helps that feeling.
It's going to be the 28th if you're
season over season.
Yeah,
in the western or eastern
you'll see some of
hemisphere.
the seasonal mechanics that players have really loved and enjoyed baked into war plans. So, you know, this is something as a system we hope to sort of improve and expand over time.
Yeah, no problem,
As
man,
we
dude.
do new seasons, we have this really cool system where we can inject fan favorites back into the game, you know, if we think that it's going to make a better and more fun experience. So we think it's going to give us a lot of tools and the players a lot of fun things to fuck around with. So,
yeah.
And I would add, that is true about all the systems that we've been talking about. Yes. The cube, the talisman, all these things are primed for that kind of treatment in the future.
Yeah, that's rad, because I feel like every season, whenever it wraps up, we always say like, hey, will this come back? It's like, well, we might find an interesting way to bring it back. And this is a huge way where a lot of those systems are going to be coming back in a really.
That's actually a great concept as well, is that like now seasonal mechanics will potentially be able to just be tied back into the game using the Roderick cube. So if there's like they can tone it down, like you have the Season of Sanctification, they've altered it and toned it down, and now you have a way of still engaging with that seasonal mechanic in a different way, but it's tied to the Roderick cube. So then if you have like seasonal powers, again, which hopefully is not their plan, you know, because the game had that for like 6 seasons in a row, and that's when I stopped playing. But like if there's like specific ones or specific aspects of that seasonal mechanic, they can tie it back into the Roderick cube and just have a new recipe and a new resource to get something that people really loved from that season and keep it in the game without having it be like something that changes the entire power dynamic and everything of the game.
Fun and cool way.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Nice. I've got a question from Mippy, one of our Diablo partners. Zavin, I know you kind of mentioned this. Will the tower go live with the start of the expansion, or
the term you're looking for, Dark, is Butch?
It is just a little bit later. So we want to, you know, we've heard, hey, if we're going to be launching the competitive aspect, let's just give a little bit of time, just a little bit to make sure things are good, and it's a fair competition and things like that. So the details are on the blog. You can go check it out. But it's going to be starting kind of not just in this case, but we're seeing this as the standard a few days after kind of the patch, right? Just to give ourselves some time to even things out, make sure there isn't any weird bug or anything like that, and then everyone can kind of jump in a fair way together.
Yeah, it's nice. Eliminate all the bugaboos right off the jump, and then
yeah,
then get right into it. Love it. Question from Farina at Diablo: how will war plans function in multiplayer? Will it evolve the war plan for the whole party or just for the party leader?
Yeah, I can take this
one.
Go ahead. So right now the war plans are per player, but what we do is if you and I are playing, or if we're playing as a party, everybody gets essentially like a chunk of the reward, baseline reward. So if Zavin and I are playing and we do a Nightmare Dungeon, Zavin has a Nightmare Dungeon node, I will get essentially a reward cache and reputation or meta progression, we should say, for the Nightmare Dungeon skill tree. So it ensures that, like, when you're playing as a party, it's still efficient, even though the boards aren't always synced.
Nice. Sweet. Question from Fame,
That
another
didn't
Diablo
really
partner.
answer our worries.
Does the fish collection
They're gonna have
reset
to
every
adjust
season,
it, I
or is it
guarantee
an account one and done kind of thing?
So I mean, once you've collected a fish, you've collected a fish. But beyond that, you can fish for as long as you want. You can catch duplicates of stuff. You can it's not a one and done system. Like it's not like a quest, right, or a campaign thing where you just kind of do it once and you're done forever. You can keep catching fish, but the actual act of marking them collected, you have collected them once you've already found them.
Heck yeah, nice. Loathe Burger, another Diablo partner. Will the loot filter highlights reflect on the minimap?
So that's something that we're looking to sort of, it's not, I'll say that right now, it's not going to. We are looking to essentially gather a bunch of feedback on the loot filter. It came in hot. It's one of those things that we know players have been asking for, and we felt like, let's give this to the community. It's very much a tool driven by the community, so we want to hear what are the things that you want to improve in the loot filter. So please give us that sort of feedback. We know that's something that I personally want. I think we all want it, so that's just one of those things that we'll file away as like, we're going to improve the system.
Oh yeah, you heard it here first.
It's one of those things, it's like we are adding a map overlay. So there's a whole new way to kind of look at the world around you now just because of that. And we really want your feedback on how this is going to be interacting with both those maps, right? Not just the mini map, but also the map overlay. So let us know how you guys like it.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah, please drop us your feedback. And I mean, across the whole expansion, we are going to be
for a map overlay.
Absolutely eagle-eyed on the forums, on socials, just checking everywhere from our partners.
Okay, I stand corrected. I just looked it up. My bad. You're good.
To just get this into everyone's hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Enigma 42K. With itemization and the skill trees being overhauled, how is masterworking going to change, and how is it going to affect the way they interact with skills compared to how they work now?
We just updated masterworking in season 11, so we're not really planning on making any updates soon.
Sweet.
Yeah. It still has quality. You'll still be able to get that through transfiguration, but we actually like how the system's working right now. So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Nice. All right, our last question. I am the berm. I see the level cap now goes to 70. Does the Paragon cap rise as well?
No, we're keeping it the same. We think that that's something that we think is like a good sort of thing to chase towards the end of the season. Right now it's like super grindy from 20 to 300, which we like because it's kind of like, okay, you've gotten all the major nodes within your Paragon. Now if you just really want to sort of grind out those core stats, you're more than welcome to. I will say we've also increased the amount of XP multipliers from Torment. So, if previously 300 was like close to within reach and you're like, I think I'm good, I'm not going to play for the rest of the season. The deeper you go into Torments, that'll make that faster. So probably more people are going to end up reaching that max level. So yeah.
Nice. I feel like we've all seen the dreaded calculation on the subreddit where people go you hit 297, you're only halfway there, man. So I'm glad that there's that.
That's
now,
actually
that
hilarious
to kind of push
because that happens in my fucking chat
and
every
there will be
time.
Some fun we'll talk about.
Someone will be like, dude, I finally got to 298 or 297 or whatever. And then someone
that wraps up
comes
our Q&A. Actually,
just so you know,
we're getting close towards the end of the stream. I do want to reiterate, for Q&A, there is a ton of information in the blog. You will notice the 3.0 patch notes are a bit lighter than usual, but that's because to list out all the skill tree changes would have been near impossible. So we've now just made that illustrative in the blog. So thank you. So yeah, I do just really want to make a note that I thank you guys for being here. I know it's an incredibly busy time. I am actually really excited to say as well that we are sim shipping this blog in all languages too. So that doesn't always happen, but everyone can chew on that time, on that information all at the same time. And I know we do have a few call outs closer to the end of the stream that we're going to get into. We have the Jackson collaboration. We have another collaboration. It's a really important one. I'm kind of blanking on it right now.
Dude, did he just get his coffee filled in the middle of this?
So yeah, I do. You will notice the 3.0 patch notes are a bit lighter than usual. So I'm glad that there's that now, that XP boost to kind of specifically Q&A patch notes would have been.
Look at this.
We've now just made that illustrative in the blog. So thank you.
That's
so
hilarious.
Yeah, I do just really want to make a note that I thank you guys for being here. I know it's an incredibly busy time.
Because they were all looking over and being like, the fuck is going on?
I am actually really excited to say as well that we are sim shipping this blog in all languages too. So that doesn't always happen, but everyone can chew on that time, on that information all at the same time. And I know we do have a few call outs closer to the end of the stream that we're going to get into.
What the hell is
happening? We have the Jackson collaboration. We have another collaboration. It's a really important one. I really don't know.
I don't remember.
Sorry, I don't really have my notes up right now. But one sec, let me just kind of bump this around.
Oh, that's why. It's because of his corn cup.
We've actually got a very special video
that
we're going to kick it over to from one of our friends. Enjoy.
So he's just trying to be like...
Today is the day.
It's hilarious.
We have something for you. We've heard from you guys for so long, desiring new music. Today's the day. We are so excited and pumped to announce to you our new song in collaboration with the iconic video game Diablo. The song, titled by Jonathan Davis himself, is called Reward the Scars. As huge fans of Diablo, man, this is just
but of all people,
a massive honor. And, you know, Jonathan is an avid gamer, as most of you know, and his #1 game has been for years. He's the biggest fan of Diablo, so specifically for him, this is a huge thing, and but all of us as well. We also have a video coming out, a killer video, intense video. I mean, you guys are gonna trip on this thing. It's coming out April 27th, 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern. And so look out for that, as well as April 27th, Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred, releasing 4 p.m. Pacific time. You guys, we hope you love this, man. We hope you love this as much as we do. And we're so excited for you to hear it. And so we will see you there.
Dude, I will say they're also getting smarter. They're doing these collabs.
That's right.
You get what I
Thank you,
mean?
Brian. You heard it here first. Lord of Hatred releases April 27th at 4 p.m. PDT. And
we all have our own truths.
First single in
my
4
truth
years.
is
Reward the
I
Scars
couldn't give
is
a
out
flying
today,
fuck
and that video releases on Monday.
this.
We showed it off to the team.
This is
Brian
another
wasn't lying.
version
It's
of
pretty
them
badass.
understanding their audience
when it releases, but
and
we've been
doing
so
shit
pumped
for their
to partner with
fans.
Corn, so that is
Because I've said this forever.
And we do have our release map that we can show you now to show the entire
so many
global
people
release,
that are like metal fans who are Diablo fans, but it is what it is. It just is.
Copy ready because it's going to be an early morning for you. But there's that release map timing. We're going to be releasing this in the blog and on socials following the stream, so you can check out when Lord of Hatred goes live for you.
My cousin used to do security for Corn years ago.
Today, pre-download goes live at 4 p.m.
At least I've heard of Corn. I remember them from like
so you can pre-download
being in high school,
3.0.0
and you know,
so when Lord of Hatred
those
releases,
kids that
you'll get into the expansion
were always
that
wearing
much
Corn
faster.
shirts.
And that begins rolling out at 4 p.m. PDT today.
I like aluminum more.
So go and check that out. I'm also very excited to announce, or not announce, we've already had this
is this a
promotion
play on
live for a little
words?
bit, but we've partnered with Trolley Gummies again.
Or is there an actual band called Aluminum?
And get a bag of Mephisto branded Trolley Gummies.
There we go.
And you'll actually be able to get some weapon transmogs.
This is bigger than Corn. Trolley.
I have to say, ever since we partnered with Trolley
like sour
for
gummies.
Vessel of Hatred, there has been a rotating trolley bag in my household. I absolutely love these things. They are sensational and delicious. And while you're at a grocery store, you can actually get a case of Diablo branded Fanta. We've got cases of Fanta Crimson Cherry with the Paladin on it, and with your purchase, you can also get an exclusive in-game reward.
They should have done a.
It is a town portal
Mountain Dew
that is Fanta colored, which is pretty
Mountain
phenomenal.
Dew collab.
So you can go get your trolleys, get your Fanta.
We need
and have a great time. So enjoy that.
Gamer Fuel back.
Additionally, we've got some really exciting things going on in Overwatch. Overwatch is celebrating the launch of Lord of Hatred with 5 new skins and some other goodies in game. They've got sprays, avatar, name cards, you name it. That Ramatra Mephisto skin looks phenomenal. They're going to have Twitch drops as well to celebrate the launch of Lord of Hatred. And they're also bringing back the original Overwatch Diablo skins that are available in Overwatch. So you can get the Moira Lilith skin is coming back, the Reinhardt Imperius skin.
Because I said metal.
And a whole lot more. So you can go and check that out in Overwatch.
Well,
those skins look
aluminum
absolutely phenomenal.
is technically
and I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but with the launch of Lord of Hatred, we've got a really exciting community challenge
or what do they even
that you
call
can sink your teeth into. So starting with the launch of Lord of Hatred,
isn't it?
The Hatred's Downfall Community Challenge is here.
I like it.
With the help of the community, you can earn this. I thought
you were making fun of Corn.
The challenge is this.
Or like trying to do a play on Corn, and you're like, I like aluminum more. And I was like,
666,000
you could have said I like
Paragon points.
broccoli more or something. That's where my mind went with your joke.
Owners and expansion non-owners. So everyone who plays Diablo 4 can participate in this. Casual dabs on the weekend, I see you. You just need to get to the end game and start earning those Paragon points to jump in. We will be.
Wait, what is this? The Hatred's downfall?
It's a little bit earlier, but with the launch of Lord of Hatred, we've got a really exciting community challenge that you can sink your teeth into. So starting with the launch of Lord of Hatred, the Hatred's Downfall Community Challenge is here. And with the help of the community, you can earn this Helm of Hatred for everyone in Diablo 4. The challenge is this. Globally, we need to earn 266,666,000 Paragon points. Now that's across Eternal, that's across Seasonal, and that's for expansion owners and expansion non-owners. So everyone who plays Diablo 4
it's just like one of those things that as you're playing the game,
I see you just need to get to the end game and start earning those Paragon points.
We're going to have a bunch of people in the community trying to grind.
We will be updating our global total on Tuesdays on our social channels, and we'll also have an in-game
character to get to 300.
Check it out Monday,
actually, Paragon carries over.
So the community progress is going.
I bought a new
let's all band together, earn those Paragon points, and earn that Helm of Hatred in game, which looks super sick. Super sick. We are also going to have Twitch drops that are going live for the expansion, so you can go check those out in our blog.
That's kind of sick.
You can get the Skull Bloody Axe cosmetic. We've got an emblem as well, and we've got this gigantic Mount Trophy cosmetic that you can earn through both Twitch drops and support a streamer. So you can check out the details.
Axe is cool, at least.
In the blog for those in the Diablo 4 category. So go and check those out. Additionally, as Lord of Hatred comes out, we're all really excited to see your reactions, so be sure to tag us on socials, whether you're a streamer or a fan, between the campaign, any sort of big reveal. We've all just been working on this for so long, and we're really excited to see how you experience the expansion. So please tag us. We're really curious to see your reactions and how you enjoy everything in the Lord of Hatred expansion. Now, before we close out the stream, I do want to kick it back over to the devs we have here today. Colin, Zav, and Art, is there anything you want to tell the players before they jump into Lord of Hatred?
I'll say thank you to everyone who's been kind of with us on this journey. We are very excited to kind of close this arc, this Age of Hatred arc that we've been kind of building towards. So thank you to everyone who's been playing with us this whole time. It's been exciting. I cannot wait
Shout out
until
the
everyone
devs.
jumps in and sees it all.
They're doing some crazy shit. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, cautiously
I'm just ready to
optimistic.
blast with everybody, like straight up.
Yeah, me too.
But it does feel like there's a new
I'm surprised we didn't say anything
era of
I can't wait to party with Art.
Like,
we're gonna blast
giving a shit
the shit
about
out of the
what
game,
the fans
it's gonna
want.
Be super fun. Can't wait to do it with all of you. Can't wait to look at all the guides. We've kept a lot of things under wraps, so I'm super curious to see how our build creators and how everybody who engages with the game cooks up some really cool stuff.
In depth.
Yeah, I think even through like all the
and player
times we've been up for the streams too, it's like the energy is palpable that we're just so
95% of everything that we know about the expansion
couldn't be more excited for it. So.
For better or for worse, seems like it's going to be a good change.
I can't wait
because it's a new starting point to work from.
Thank you, all three of you, for being here.
ways.
I know it's an incredibly busy time, but thanks
So there
for
might
being
be
here,
some
for the live stream.
friction
I want to give a huge thank you to the production crew, to Rich and everyone behind the scenes.
We
It takes
have
a lot
a
of
new
people to make
baseline
these streams happen. So thank
that
you
is,
to all
I
of you.
think, a better
Thank you to Team 3,
baseline
for all your incredible
we've
work on this
had
expansion
in the game
It's really
ever.
going to shine through. You guys are an incredible team, and it's an honor to work here and be a part of this. And thank you to everyone at home for tuning in and for playing Diablo 4. We wouldn't be here without you, and it means so much to us that you've been here. And Lord of Hatred launches April 27th at 4 p.m. PDT. Pre-download goes live today at 4 p.m. And we will see you all in Skobos.
So the first Campfire chat. This is good. I like this. And I will say, like, as far as like hype value too, like everything they did on this Campfire chat is, even aside from all the changes in the game and stuff that we can speculate on and whatever, and how those mechanics are going to work in the game and whatever. But like the vibe, the collabs they're doing make way more sense for Diablo. Like all of the presentation, there wasn't a bunch of just like, where they try to like do these scenes of like going to a dev and she's sitting in like, who is that fat chick that like always is in these videos, but like going to her and she's like sitting in like some like fog-filled room with like, what we'd like to talk about, you know, and they're just like talking about stupid shit. Like this was just like to the point, good collabs, not a bunch of fluff. I felt like it was perfect. English with the word salad. I want that statue, right? The way I made the whirlwind Rickster, it is not dying anymore like yours is. Hell yeah. They are simplifying some things and expanding on customization, so build stagnation won't be as big a thing once they get stuff sorted out and fixed. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like we have to know, no matter what, it's not gonna be just like you hop in and everything's working fine and the build you want to play is working fine and any of that. We now have, like I said, kind of like a new baseline. So there is going to be problems. And if you don't think that, then you're an idiot, because this is huge and it's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, I think that even with all the problems and like bugs and whatever else is going to pop up, in the end, it's going to be better for the game overall. Sadly, Joe has her last acupuncture appointment on Monday, so I won't get to start on the game until late that night. Well, the good thing is we'll be going all night, and by then, it will honestly, who knows? Like by the time you get back, the game might not even, you might not even be able to get into the game yet until you get back. We're hoping that's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. If we have been playing for several hours by the time you get back, good thing is that means that we'll have some of the questions answered. You get what I mean? This is way more change than I thought it would be, but I'm hopeful. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like remember, you know, the only thing I can really compare this to is in season 4 when they did the huge itemization overhaul and they changed all the affixes and they changed like a bunch of the unique aspects and changed a bunch of legendary aspects and like, you know, all these systems. And that was like a huge deal. That's what got me back into the game initially, was season 4, because when I played season 1, I was like, I don't enjoy this experience at all in season 1. And it was just like grindy for the sake of being grindy. Like figuring out builds and shit was like, just didn't work. A lot of the affixes on gear just didn't actually matter. And then when season 4 happened, that was like a huge step. And I was like, that's insane. And then on top of that, it took a while for them to kind of adjust the uniques and adjust some of the stats, the way they rolled. They changed like item power and all this stuff. They're doing that again for like almost every item in the game, on top of everything else that's being added. You know what I mean? So it was like, that was their only focus. They didn't even have a seasonal mechanic for that season because of that. Because they were like, this is such a big overhaul of the itemization that like, I don't even think there was a seasonal mechanic. It was just the season of like, the season of reworked items or something. I don't even know what it was called. But either way, it didn't matter for me because I was like, but now they're doing that again and adding whole new systems to the game, adding a whole new end game progression system. They're adding whole new zone, and they're having, I don't know if if there is actually a seasonal mechanic, because they called it like the season of hatred or something. So I don't know if there's going to be like seasonal anything, but who cares, because there's going to be enough other shit to do. And at the very least, they'll still have a thing where you can like, you know, earn experience and get a resplendent spark or whatever. And then you have your seasonal journey that you have anyway, you know, the things where it's like you have to do the capstones And I don't know if that system is gonna still exist. They just brought that back, so I'm assuming it'll still exist to unlock your next tier for your seasonal quests or whatever, so. The inventory, I like the clarification. On Warpath in multiplayer, but the problem is, Infinite, is it's still gonna be a detriment to do it in a squad. So they're gonna have to tweak it, because I think, because that was one of the #1 things that the IGN person said, and they didn't clarify it in any way that mattered to me, because what he said is that exactly what they said, is he was like, you just feel like you're getting less for participating in it, and it just makes it feel like it's not worth your time, where you would prefer just doing this solo. And they didn't say anything that goes away from that. They're like, you get a chunk of the rewards that the person is getting, whoever reward plan it is, whoever the party leader is. But if that's the case, then that just means a lot of people are just gonna be like, well, I'd rather just do it on my own, unless it's something that they just can't do. But like, they're gonna have to find a way to tweak it. Having like this customized system adds a lot of potential like frustrations for people, because you get credit and points. Yeah, but you get like 25% of the experience towards your tree versus the 100% that the other person is getting. Whoever's, or like, even if it's like 50%, it's still gonna feel like, like you're gonna get into a squad, especially for me as a streamer. What's gonna end up happening is people are gonna be like, hey, like if I wanna do boss runs or something, and then people are gonna be like typing in chat saying, hey, can I be party leader so we can, because I'm still struggling on my board. I haven't been able to make that much progress on my war plan, and then I'm gonna have to be doing like raffles for who gets to be party leader, so that they get the most experience and the best rewards from doing war plans when we're just trying to do like boss runs and shit. And the other thing is we don't know if just like doing boss runs only is gonna exist still in the game, or like if war plans is a complete thing where you have to do war plans to engage with these activities, or if you can do these activities separately aside from doing war plans. I don't know if there's like a definitive answer on that yet. Do stupid zone thing every new season. Wait, what are you talking about? The zone things, Dark? You can do them separately? Okay, well, if that's the case, that will remove a lot of that, because like, I still think war plans is going to turn into something where most people are just doing that on their own to make progress on it. Because if you can do those activities separately, does that mean that like the points you have in your war plan skill tree don't affect those activities if you're doing them outside of war plans? So it'll just mean like just doing straight up boss runs, you can still do, but like as we saw, you're not like getting guaranteed uniques from opening the hordes anymore. And then if you don't have the bonuses from war plans, depending on how those bonuses look and how the tree works, it'll just be interesting to see how this interacts. But the fact that you can still do them separately is actually a good thing, I think. The redhead shaped icon on the map you have to unlock to do shit in that zone? Oh, you mean strongholds? Strongholds don't really bother me, to be honest. The only thing that ever annoyed me about them is that there's dungeons you can't access without doing them, but usually it literally takes like 5 minutes to do a stronghold. And if you want it to go even quicker, you just go down to Torment 1 or whatever and just do the Stronghold real quick, and then it carries over to the other Torment tier, so. I've only done 3 all season, yeah. But then like if you get like and who knows how sigils are gonna work now and all that stuff. But like if you got like a good sigil like Roderick Strong Room or Treasure Room or whatever, then, and it was like, well, you can't do this because you haven't completed the Stronghold yet. That was the only time where I felt like semi-annoyed. But of all the other things, you get what I mean? Like of all the things, that was like not a big pain point for me personally. Okay, I kind of want to scan back through this. For notes. Oh wait, there's one that this just reminded me of. What's the other thing? I only do the necessary ones, yeah. That and the gate kept teleports. That is a good point. What is it? Gate kept or gate keeped? Is gatekeep a 1 word or 2 words? Is it hyphenated? It's 1 word. Okay, it is gate kept. Interesting. That was more about me just like being interested in it than it was about like I'm not like trying to call you out or anything. I just like to figure out the proper way to do things, or to, because I'm like obsessed with language, even though I only know 1, and I'm not amazing at it, so. I'm not trying to be like a corrector person, because I hate, you know, everyone, there's like, it's like a meme, is like being like the grammar Nazi, which that doesn't even have as much bite to that expression anymore because of modern language. For Waypoint and Nightmare Dungeon and Legion, yeah, exactly. Okay, let me see here. So, tempering uniques and mythics, that's actually insane. The fact that we're gonna be able to do that makes me feel like the new tempers are not gonna be as meaningful as they used to be. If I had to imagine, because if you can add it to uniques, you get what I mean? Like some of these things you have to kind of like look at the overall picture of being like, if you have this like super insane mythic or unique, either one, and like Starless Skies or something, and then you can temper on something crazy, like for instance, like chance for frozen orbs to cast twice, or for a skill to do double damage or whatever, that would make it kind of busted, even more so than it already is. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust those. I'm right there with you, except I love correcting people. Yeah, I've gone through like stages, you know? I think there's certain things that I would just do because that was the way I was raised, you know? So it's like my mom always corrected us growing up, and like it was very important for us to structure and use the right words and all of that growing up. And so then I think I was just doing that to my friends and stuff, and it would like annoy the shit out of them because they're like, you get what I mean, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just letting you know, that's not right. And then so then like what, when as you get older and you like start having self-awareness and you're like, oh well, that doesn't really like contribute to the conversation if I cut someone off when they're telling a story to be like, actually that word doesn't exist. But a lot of times now it's just for my own knowledge, because like a word like gatekeep is probably a modern word in terms of like there was probably a similar version of it from back in medieval times where it actually meant like, preventing people from getting through your gate or something, but it probably wasn't like the same word. And it was more like it wasn't even an expression used the same way. But now if you say gatekeep, people know what that means. So it's always interesting to see how they take a word that is like a more modern word and how they apply English rules to it. Because sometimes it makes no sense. Well, a lot of English rules don't make sense anyway, so. Okay. So we got that, adding the aspects, tempering uniques and mythics. Without there we go. Yeah, we didn't get a ton about the skill trees, to be honest. They kind of just showed some random ones for your certain classes. But they did show a decent amount with Sork, so that makes me happy, because some of the stuff, like this whole thing with the familiars,
will always be
this thing with the familiars is kind of nuts.
If you want all three elements, the prismatic familiar option is for you, causing each of your spells.
So every time you cast a spell, they erupt, doing damage. So if you can scale this damage, like you might actually be able to use familiars as like a build now, because that was not really a thing ever since they've been introduced into the game. The unique item that increased skeleton soldiers and mage count is a huge new unique effect. But that means they probably changed there was already a legendary aspect that did that. So they're probably removing that legendary aspect or changing it, how it functions, and they added it to a unique item. Because like they said, they were trying to make uniques specific to types of builds and specific to like certain skills instead of just being like generalized uniques. So they probably took that legendary aspect and made it into a unique aspect for a specific item, and now that legendary aspect is completely different, or it is changed. The funner, no, mofo, the correct way to say it is more fun. Yes. Well, that one is just bad because funner just sounds stupid to me. Like there's certain corrections that I'll make just because it makes someone sound stupid. And it's not even a thing that's meant for, it's just like, if you say funner, because like every person should know, unless you're not a native English speaker, but that funner is not a word, and if you use it, like, it just makes you look stupid, in my opinion. I do need those things. Infinite, thank you. But yes, I think this thing for the familiars is actually kind of cool, and this wasn't something I had any concept of before this stream. But like I said, it'll just depend on how much you can scale these explosions. Okay, let me see. Some of the Spiritborn stuff. They didn't show a ton for Spiritborn, but like this infected forest ability actually looks pretty sick. Because I think the Protector was a defensive skill that just helped with survivability. And now you can like add a thing where it's also working as a offensive ability and doing dot damage, spawning pestilence storms, and poisoning enemies. So if you scale into poison and you can get defense on top of all this other shit is crazy. I'm Dutch and funner makes no sense as a word. Exactly. Yes, I do need a stretch though. Here, I'll be right back. This will only take me 2 seconds.
Let's go.
Problem is like this was one of the few times recently where my cat just came in here and just sat in the chair and hung out. As soon as I stand up to stretch, she gets up and she's like, wait, what are we doing? I would feel like retarded if I use that word. That is like the ultimate. That is the ultimate funny thing, to spell the word retard wrong. It's like the ultimate cell phone. But like I said, he's Dutch. He gets a pass. If you can speak multiple languages, my flexibility for mistakes is a lot higher.
The Centipede Spirit assists by poisoning the area around the Protector.
Oh yeah, this looks kind of sick.
And constantly spewing pestilent swarms.
Okay, I just want to scan through this for anything. We didn't really get an update on any information that we didn't already know about war plans for the most part. There was some of the stuff with the Gift of Whispers, the Tree of Whispers. Some of this stuff was interesting.
As you make progress, your command table levels up, opening up a wider range of options, including higher node rarities and deeper chains, with up to 5 activities in a single war plan. War plans also grant the ability to teleport directly to the next activity in your playlist.
When do they show
and
the
eventually
actual
back
nodes?
to Temis to claim your reward. A problem. War plans is all. Want to hard focus on endgame. Each activity has its own activity, so this is one example of how deep this can go. You can tune your rewards with nodes like Lair of Runes for more rune drops.
Rune farming node for boss fights. Bonus loot chest.
Lair of Plenty for an extra horde.
Mythic Talisman? Not my bad, it got auto-corrected. Well, apparently, technically, it's... Or I heard Peanut say this, because, like, he had train wrecks. I don't know if you guys have ever watched train wrecks. If you've been in, like, the Twitch community overall, and, like, the gaming community, like, train wrecks, he used to be, like, a big deal in the scene. Now he's kind of just turned into like a gambler and occasionally does some gaming stuff, but he's like super into Rust. He always does a bunch of stuff on Rust, and since Burn Peanut had his server, whatever, you know. But he's always kind of been known for like pushing the envelope. There was like a whole argument they got in, not even an argument, but like Peanut was like, yeah, you can't say that. And then Trainwreck was like, what, retard? I can't say retard? And he just like kept saying it over, and Peanut was like, come on, guys. So I don't know. But I say it all the time, so I don't care. Watch me get banned for that, though. Okay.
Chest. Golden Horde.
All equipment that would drop from Horde chests are converted to gold. Interesting. Except for unique and mythic. Yeah, so I think, like, we already kind of knew this, but uniques are going to be... I think uniques are going to be way stronger than they used to be in a lot of ways. Especially because they're going to be like specific to builds and skills. But because of that, you know, they're actually going to be in a new tier versus like just like casually getting uniques dropping all the time and you didn't even look at it twice unless it had 2 or 3 GAs. Like there's going to be actual like loot tiers for maybe the first time in D4's history. Like meaningful loot tiers. There's still gonna be shit uniques, don't get me wrong, and we already know that there's shit mythics, so... That one doesn't really matter to me, honestly.
Convert low tier items into gold, or exotic armor.
Horde chests drop 1 additional unique item, but it can be for any class. That's interesting. So it's just a gamble. And if uniques are that hard to find, because it's 1 additional unique, but if you're like averaging only 1 unique every chest you open, which it sounds like it's probably going to be, then that you're getting double what you normally would get. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with uniques and shit. But like, why wouldn't you just do the bonus chest versus doing this? You get what I mean? Like, wouldn't the bonus chest just be better? Because unless when you open the chest, there isn't a guaranteed unique at all. So this way, at least like guarantees that there's unique. I don't know. Then you should be immortal, Rickster, since you are unique. Thank you, sir.
Armory, if you're looking to gear an alt. Then there's cross-pollination, pulling lair bosses.
I do like this one too, the getting like different bosses. They may drop unique items.
Brother.
Boss ambushes. Brother, hanging and banging, brother. Boss ambushes during other endgame activities.
Into other activities to remix your runs. Grigwar's Gambit can spawn him from Helltide chests. Embers of Anguish brings Andariel into the pit. Out of the Cold allows the Beast and Ice to join every Nightmare Dungeon boss fight. The Pit Tree gives you a completely different kind of control. You can dial up risk and reward with Choron's Haste.
Glyph. Leveling node. Extra upgrade chance for every 5 min left on timer. This one I think is going to be awesome though. Okay, sleepers, time for the old man. Have a great stream. Love you. Yes, mate. Get some sleep, brother. Always a pleasure. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna hop off soon and then actually do another stream. I just have shit that I have to do today. So instead of just like carrying this stream into the regular stream, I just want to like get some of the honestly, I was just gonna end stream as soon as this ended, but I kind of wanted to make these notes because I forgot to take notes for the first like 3/4 of the important shit.
Heart of Stone.
After slaying the Heart of Stone. Wait, what? After slaying the Guardian. Okay, so the Heart of Stone one. Wait, I wonder if this is going to be underneath this one. But I guess with this one, the difference is you can get multiple upgrade chances. But that I didn't even realize this before, that by once you deposit the Heart of Stone. Okay, and this is the other thing. After taking sustained damage, so if you drop this too many times, it'll break. So this one's kind of a risk. But you still get +1 glyph upgrade chance if you make it to the end with the relic. So that's kind of cool. This one will be interesting. This one seems like an easier, like, yeah, just put a point into it, because you'll just be able to level your glyphs so much faster. But we'll see in actual practice. Talk to you later. Gotta drive. Infinite, drive safe, brother. Stay safe out there. Always a pleasure.
The Pit Butcher, or modifiers like...
Wait, what is the Pit Butcher? Has a chance to pair anywhere in the pit. The Butcher is a guardian and killing him will complete the run. However, you fail the run if he kills any player. That one's riskier. You get what I mean? But it means he can... Oh, and just has a chance to appear. So like you could be literally 30 seconds into your pit and the Butcher shows up. Because the Butcher does hit crazy hard depending on like how ready you are for the torment tier you're in. Because they've like kind of buffed the Butcher in a lot of ways. But like he can like potentially one-shot you. So it is kind of a risk, but you could just like get these insanely quick pits and then just get all your upgrades right off the rip. So that one's not a bad one.
Fires like damned thieves.
This one's kind of stupid, to be honest.
Or you can pivot the rewards entirely, converting glyph upgrades with nodes like Choron's Soul.
Now spawns will drop 1 progress orb per glyph upgrade chance offered. All progress orbs in the pit now grant experience. Modifiable rewards for pits to turn glyph upgrading chances into items and EXP. You've already... I think this is actually pretty big. The EXP one, maybe not so much. It just depends on how much experience you get from it. But just the concept of running pits to help other people out and still getting rewards out of it, because I remember I haven't really had issues with it this season, and I think my mindset has changed a lot since the last time I played the game. But I remember back in the day, it would kind of be hard because like people just needed pit runs. And once you already have your glyphs upgraded and you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna run pits for an hour and a half, you know, and you know, because there was a time, wasn't there a time when pits didn't offer any experience? I feel like that was a thing. That guitar though. Also, which butcher? That is true. Is it the layer boss butcher? Because if that's the case, it does say he's turning into the Guardian, so he's gonna be scaled to the difficulty of whatever pit level you're doing. For like the boss level of that version of the butcher, but yeah. Pits were good for obols back in the day. Wasn't there a time where they didn't offer any experience at all though? Because they offer experience now, just not a ton. Or they offer like decent experience, but like I feel like there was a time where they didn't offer any experience. And yeah, I've never been like really an experience grinder anyway, so. But just the fact that you can get different rewards is good. Because then at the bare minimum, if you're just running people through pits so they can upgrade their glyphs and you just want to do quick pits, you know, so you're doing like pit 80s or whatever you can do quickly, but you can get items out of it. You know, you already got a couple items and sometimes they were decent, but it was like, it wasn't, you know. So it'll be interesting to see how much this affects it. Like if it's giving you actually good items and if they've removed the items that inherently dropped anyway, because now like, you know, legendary items are going to be more valuable. So like, I'm assuming, you know, you're not going to be getting those like 2 and 3 GA legendaries that you used to get when you would just run pits anyway. So yeah, that guitar does look pretty sick though, YY.
And Choron's flesh. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
We already watched all this. For anyone who didn't know,
modifiers
I'm just going through and making notes so I can like.
With war plans,
I'm
get to define.
Gonna try to make a YouTube video today about it if I have time.
Fishing is designed as a.
Okay, we don't care about fishing. Let me just look over this real quick to see any of the stuff. Like, until we know what these other modifiers are, it's kind of hard to be super excited about it. I'm still excited about a lot of these changes. Just because like you even have every basic skill has an elemental change that you can do to it. So Frostbolt can be turned into lightning. What is this called? Flamebolt? What is this even called? I think it's Flamebolt or Firebolt. Something. That can be turned into ice. Arc Lash can be turned into ice, and Spark can be turned into fire. One thing that I really loved about PoE 2 that they had in that game was the interaction between skills. And this is kind of like their version of doing it, where you can like modify your skills to get interactions. But I love that concept of being able to put down a flame wall and then cast your skill through it and get that fire ice ball or fire lightning spark, you know, without like losing the lightning benefits, but just gaining the benefits of fire too. That was like one of the coolest things that I had seen in an ARPG when they introduced that. The other interesting thing will be seeing how, because like, why would you put so many points in your basic skill now? Because removing passives is gonna mean that we're gonna have a lot more points to use on skills, and we get 10 more skill points going up to level 70 now. So it'll just be interesting to see how we're gonna have to navigate putting our points in. And like, unless you're getting scaling from one of these things that adds to other things, like that would be sick if some of these basic skill nodes were like, now your 2% of your damage from your basic skill is added to all like pyromancy skills in general, and you got that like scaling like we used to have in Diablo 2, where each tier as you go down are adding to the damage of the primary skill you're using. Because like, I don't want the game to force me to have to use basic skills in general. Like, I want basic skills. If your build isn't built around your basic skill being your primary damage source, I hope that it hasn't changed so you actually need to use it at all times just to generate resource. I don't like that concept. And I can't say for sure that I hate it, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I won't be happy if there's not a way to get enough like resource generation and shit through other means. So you actually have to just like have a primary skill and be spamming it all the time to generate enough resource to do all the things that actually do damage. My plan is to stream tonight. So I'll get off in probably like 10 minutes and then stream tonight. What is today? Today's Thursday, right? And then, yeah, I just have so many things. And now that we're getting it a day earlier, which we kind of assumed, but I didn't know for sure, means I just have less time. And there's kind of some stuff that it's actually a lot of stuff. It's raining today, which is, hopefully it stopped. When I woke up this morning, it was raining, which is not good because a lot of the stuff I have to do in my parents' yard rain is bad for that, so.
Skill tree improvement.
Wait, we're just gonna scan through this. I just want the skill trees. Hopefully the blog post they release later has some of the skill trees in it. That'd be great. I don't even care if it has any other ones, just put the Sork one in it. So I can actually scan over it. Okay, that was it. One of the crazy things about the new seasonal rewards too is when you get to the last one, and I think these seasonal rewards are going to be way more valuable now, because like reaching this and getting a thing like a cache that has just a bunch of uniques in it, with how difficult it seems like getting uniques in the game is going to be huge. But I know on the last one, so is this cache is just a spark, right? So you get a spark. Why would they do it like that instead of just having them both like this? Unless this is a mythic cache where you just get a random mythic from it. But I don't know. It's hard to know right off the rip. And then what are these blank tablets? We don't know what those are. Decent amount of obdicite from this. And then the last one, you get 3 plus one of these mythic caches. So you're gonna get a lot of sparks from doing this stuff. And I think the other rewards are just gonna be worth more now because of everything else. A mythic Herodric seal. Wait, did we know about this? We knew that there were unique Herodric seals. But I don't know if we've seen a mythic one yet. Does that mean there's mythic charms too, or mythic talismans or whatever? I don't know what's the difference between talisman and charms. It's what I was saying. I didn't notice this before. I was wondering what you were talking about. Because the Herodric seal is what you like put in the center, and I think they'll have like, it determines how many charms you can equip, and then it also determines like it'll have like some pretty strong modifiers from what I understand. Charm is the center, so the Herodric seal, or the seals, are charms, and then the talismans are the things surrounding it. Don't they say charm slots though? How many unlocks? So that's kind of confusing. Complete 10 of the following and claim the Gilded Laurel of Hatred. Gilded Laurel of Hatred. Thick. Torment 11 or higher. So these are gonna scale, like you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna actually have to do shit. And they said there's gonna be 100 more quests so that like you can keep grinding through them if that's really what you want to do. And depending on the rewards, it might actually be worth it.
Climbing through Sanctuary's trials. Push past your limits, conquer fresh objectives, and claim rewards worthy of your growing legend.
With this update, we're here to make more affixes matter and make item choices contribute meaningfully to your overall power. Common, magic, and rare items contain
Interesting. These are all super low level, but like some of the stuff is just interesting.
Meaningful value in endgame because they can serve as crafting bases. You can later add affixes to them and upgrade their rarity using the Herodric Cube.
Oh wait.
You can later add affixes to them and upgrade the.
Okay, so did he do two different transmutations here? Because he clicks on add affix, but then once it cuts to the next scene, this one's also selected. So it might actually be different than what I thought it was. Because initially when we were watching this, he just said add affixes and then it turned it into a legendary. But he might have done both of them at the same time.
And later add affixes to them.
Because then look, then it's upgrade to legendary. Unless when you when you add an affix, if it already has the max affixes on the tier of item, it just automatically upgrades it to legendary. So it just selects that. I don't know. That's kind of strange because there's a cut that happens. So it goes from this with the resources he's using to add an affix to this, where he's using a different resource to upgrade to legendary.
And upgrade their rarity using the Herodric Cube.
So those might be two different things, adding affix and upgrading rarity, because I wasn't sure how that system was going to work.
They will continue to drop in Torment difficulties, including as ancestral items, and they can also roll with greater affixes. With this update, auto-salvaging of lower rarity items in Torment has been disabled.
Auto-salvaging low-level rarity in Torment has been disabled. Oh, because before as you went up torment tiers, so you weren't just getting a bunch of garbage. It was just like auto breaking it down into the resources if like a rare item or magic item ended up dropping somewhere, which was something that they initially added to prevent like loot clutter. I heard both called talisman and charm. So yeah, that's what I'm saying is like I'm super confused which is which. It doesn't really matter, but
something we're excited about is damage multipliers.
And having these damage multipliers roll as stats, it just depends on how meaningful they are. But it seems like they're trying to make it so like weapon damage is important to your build. Because it really hasn't been up until this point. And I don't really understand how those multipliers work. Like when I watch Woody videos and he's doing the math in his head of like, oh, this says 100% to this, and so that would be the 2.5 overall, you know, multiplier to this. I'm like, what the fuck? How are you doing this? Either way, it's cool. We'll get mythic ones. Exactly.
On gear.
That's all that matters. And this concept is interesting. Randomized affixes for uniques. But like I said, I think certain ones are like static affixes, because like on both of these, they're showing the differences of things that can roll. And both of them have the exact same first two affixes. So like Azurath is gonna be more for magic, like casters. So like, cause who uses intelligence? It's just the Necro and the Sork, right? So this is more designed for Necro and Sork because you're always gonna have intelligence on it. And we saw that with like Banished Lords where it's like it rolls willpower, which doesn't mean that you can't use it in other classes, but it just means that, you know, that bonus does less for you if you're not one of the primary classes that it's designed for. Because I was wondering if these could roll differently to make them more accessible for other classes. And I guess we don't know for sure because this could just be a minor example, but you know, if you're trying to show the differences between what uniques can roll, you think you would show completely different ones if they can roll completely different affixes altogether. But it seems like, at least with this item, it's only the bottom two that can roll different things. But it all, like I was saying before, it'll make a huge difference because like maximum life and life on kill versus getting a multiplicative cold damage multiplier is completely different, you know? So like farming for the unique that actually helps your build and has what you want on it. And we still don't know if there will be a recipe to modify to change these in the Roderick Cube or anything.
Your build. Tempered affixes went through an overhaul. Unique and mythic.
Wait, I went too far again. I just want to see some of the options. The problem is I don't know Barb that well. So Pain Gorgers has strength, max life, and then cooldown reduction and lucky hit. What do they have on them now? Because I don't know which of these things are different affixes. Like, didn't they have like attack speed and something else? Damage when spending resolve, damage to distant enemies, and these numbers are a lot lower. So that, yeah, like I said, I think the tempering is going to be a lot weaker. These could just be low level recipes that this character has, because they're only at 150 Paragon. We can't see what torment tier they're in. So there's a chance that they could be, and these are all additive damage versus, but you're getting a bunch of multiplicative modifiers now that just roll on items. So, but tempering might just become less valuable than it was, especially if they remove some of the tempers that were like big deals. And being able to temper uniques means that if they had the same ones as before, it would kind of make them broken.
And mythic items can now be tempered.
So maybe affixes are stationary and the suffixes are the ones that change? Yeah, because affixes, that's what's confusing. That's how they had it in Diablo 2, right? Is that you had like the affixes that were static and the suffixes that could change? But then you have implicits as well. So the suffixes would be the bottom two stat rolls, essentially.
200 legendary aspects have been refreshed with design updates. Gems are getting a major upgrade. Weapon gem effects are significantly stronger.
They also didn't give us any info about this. They just said, weapon gem effects are significantly stronger. We have a new tier of gems. That was about it, which is kind of frustrating.
And we're including new gem tiers. We've heard your feedback on stackable items, and
But that's huge. Okay. Last thing I want to look up before I hop off is to see if they, where do you go to find their notes? They said they were releasing notes for the Campfire chat. Where do you go to do that? Is that on the forums? You'll find seals and charms as you play normally. Seals sit in the middle, unlocking additional charm slots. Can even change the rules to which the charms you can equip. Unique charms give you aspect of a unique without having to equip the unique itself. Set charms give set bonuses. Pre-torment set charms are generic. Torment charms are class specific, harder to find, and give you different play styles depending. Okay. Amulet only transfiguration can grant you a bonus legendary power. You can re-roll it as long as you have the material required. You can also break down an ancestral unique to create a unique charm. We already knew that. But it has to be an ancestral unique. I don't know if we knew that before. Here, here's the written version of most of the stuff they went through if anyone wants to check it out. I'm just reading through it real quick to see if there's anything that they go over that we missed. It's a talisman system. The charms are what go into it to create the talisman. So you have the seal, and then you add the charms to make a talisman. So talisman is just the term for the finished product or the system in and of itself. Map overlay while enabled, the minimap is disabled. Keybinds for opacity, keybinds for zoom. Can change the color of the overlay as well. T6 volatile. Okay, so doing T6, Torment 6, Primordial Dust now drops more frequently. In Torment 8, unique charms drop more frequently. So unique charms in and of themselves are going to be a thing. That was something we were talking about. because it took 3 unique charms plus an ancestral unique to create a new unique charm. That was part of the recipe that we saw. Colean tuning prisms now drop more frequently. Since we don't really know what each thing does, layer boss now share a single key and all greater layer bosses share another. So we saw this before, greater layer bosses, and I thought it was going to be different tiers, but I think that what that really means is that, you know, you have like the sub layer bosses like Varshan and Zur and the Judicator, whatever that guy's name is, and Beast in the Ice, and then you have like the uber bosses like Duriel and Indariel and Harbinger and now the Butcher. So it's going to be separate keys for each of them. It just depends if they change like the drops, because like if you have specific drops, uniques that can only happen, but now you have this like super rare currency to open their chest, that's gonna be, could be frustrating. Yeah, the old boss mats, what do they do now? I forgot. You can turn them into, I remember one of them was you can transmute it into a unique, a random unique that boss would normally drop. These ones just say use to transmute into items found in Gregor's Hoard. So this one kind of works the same way. We just don't know what the different tiers, what that means. Like if it's gonna transmute it into, you know, because if you get the unique version of these boss mats, it probably is specific to uniques, and then these lower tier ones are just gonna be like chances for lower tier charms and like, I don't know, rare or magic gear. But like, I don't even know if magic and rare gear is going to be tied to specific bosses or like have specific affixes that it can roll based on the boss that you open the chest for. So a lot of this is kind of confusing, but every run spans 5 full floors. Floor generation is built up from the ground up, more streamlined, less frustrating dead ends, more consistent rhythm. I don't get the whole 5 floor thing though, to be honest. Nearly every environment in the game can appear in the pit. There are rare floors where you'll stumble onto brand new layout mashups found nowhere else. Almost every variant of every monster family can now appear, including very rare and special populations. Removed death and resurrection penalties and no more boss shadow attacks. Shrines have a flat spawn chance. Progress scales with enemy types. The tougher they are, the more progress you get. Treasure goblins can now invade the pit. Bosses, goblins, and treasure chests all drop loot. Okay, so you can get loot fighting through the pit now too, which is cool. New pit mastery objectives such as speed and without dying objectives. Pit bosses spawn on top of you now. Okay, so once you've completed the progress, the boss just spawns on top of you instead of going to like the boss room, which is interesting. Which means for like carrying people, I don't know how that's gonna work. Runes. Okay, we already knew about that. So yeah, the thing is you get an extra stash tab for the expansion. I guess we'll take it. But it does seem like inventory is going to be more manageable. But you're also adding in, keeping it like magic and rare items that you're going to potentially try to modify in the cube that are going to take up extra space too. So there's that. I think it's gonna be like a net, like the same at best. but we'll see. Probably spawn on party leader like in strong rooms. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing with that is, you know, like before you would just have someone sit at the beginning of the pit if you were carrying them. And then once the portals spawn, they just go in and they can sit outside the boss fight and still get the experience and rewards from the boss fight. But now you might actually have to like move through the pit with the person carrying you, because whenever the boss does spawn, you know what I mean? Like the mechanic might be completely different. What's up, Han? How are you doing? Don't need TP to member or move through? Yeah, because with the different levels too, you might not be getting experience unless you're on that map with them. So like each time you go to a next map or a next level of the pit, you have to TP to the party leader. And then once they're getting close, you TP to the party leader. Or like once the boss spawns, you type in chat, hey boss, and then they TP. So it's like, it's probably a good thing in terms of like keeping people more engaged, but like it's kind of annoying because before you could just like, I could just sit and talk to chat, and then out of the corner of my eye, once I saw that bright red portal show up, okay, now I go in. But you're gonna have to be more engaged, so. I'm good, was doing some gardening, watching streams of the Campfire, hell yeah. New mythic sword does plus to all skills. Where did you see that, Han? I haven't seen a image of it yet. How is masterworking is staying the same? Okay, most of this stuff is everything we all already knew about. Like this blog post didn't add any information. It's just written out so it's like easier to go through. And yeah, I was hoping that there was gonna be something. Someone said, TLDR summary. Seasonal and Lord of Hatred expansion players. Here's 1,000 new things for you to play with. Eternal Realm players. The Butcher is now a permanent layer boss. You're welcome. It is so funny that they can do stuff like this. And like, this is like a prime example of no matter what you do, you're going to find people who are going to be mad. The amount of people that play Eternal Realm has got to be less than 5% of the player base that like play it consistently and give a shit about Eternal Realm like changes. And this is hilarious because they already said that the Eternal Realm is getting all the changes that the updated realms are. So you're getting the skill trees, you're gonna get all the unique item changes, you're gonna get all those changes. So I don't even know what this person is talking about, but I posted it in general. Okay, Han, I'll check it out. What's up, Sensui? How are you doing? Welcome in. Okay, let's look at this. So 210 to all stats. All damage multiplier. 30%. +3 to all skills. Defeating an elite pack reduces your skill cooldowns. Yeah, this could actually be pretty insane. It just depends what, you know, like on the class. Because the other thing is the reason why, because some people have been worried about like a lot of items are losing plus to skills on them. But from what Woody was saying is that the way skills plus to skills, because now that you can put skill points, 15 skill points into your skill, that means that skill levels, they have diminishing returns after a certain point. So having, you know, plus to skills on a bunch of items is not as valuable as it used to be, because you're already going to be closer to where you're getting the diminishing returns inherently. So it'll be interesting to see if having the plus to skills actually makes a big difference. Thank you for the ban, Dark. Good, just woke up a little bit ago. Hell yeah. When you can only have +5. Yeah, when you can only have +5 on the tree, getting plus to skills on a bunch of different items. Like for instance, on my Frozen Orb, I have like +40 to Frozen Orb or something. But if I'm already, or let's say +30 to make it easier for my brain that can't do math. I'm already halfway there just putting points into the skill tree. Getting the other 15 isn't going to be as difficult as getting the other 25, you know? So yeah, it'll just be interesting how this all interacts. This game is so random. Just picked up Nami for my druid with 3 passives on it already. Luckily, we're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. Okay, was there anything else? I'll just keep scanning for a second and see. Okay, loot filter, we knew about that. Long-term progression. But this is after opening a Duriel chest. So what we can see here is 1 unique item. So that's where that skill will come into play, or that point in the board will come into play, where you can get 1 more unique item. I'm assuming, I hope, this is in Torment 3 too. So obviously as you go up to higher Torments, there's probably higher chances of getting more unique items. But that one point where it was like 1 + 1 unique item, but it can be for any class, is interesting. But then there was the other one where it was you get to open 1 more horde chest. I guess the 1 unique item means you don't have to spend a key to open another chest, whereas the extra chest, you probably have to spend a key to open the secondary chest. So that's why, now that makes more sense in my head. From the den. The den. The double aspect on necklaces is crazy though. Yeah, being able to put 2 legendaries, because they had to make amulets after losing passives. That's what one of the things I was worried about, is having that happen means that I thought amulets were just going to become like a stat boosting item, like they weren't going to be valuable anymore. But now that you specifically only with legendary amulets can add another legendary aspect, and already legendary aspects get like a 1.5 boost or something, right? On amulets. So that makes it kind of nuts. That is a great point, Han. Wow, they really want us to grind, don't they? Yeah, it's gonna be, everything's gonna be completely different, Sensui. Like I did a lot of pausing during the thing. So if you want to go back, I tried to like pause and go over things, go back in the stream, or just watch their video. You know, there's a lot of shit that they went through on there. Dude, I hope to God they fix this. I don't even remember this being in the video.
And inventory space. Bartok and Astaroth.
So they were just showing that Bartok and Astaroth are now... Grants access to Blile's Horde, which offers a definable reward pool that mimics any desired lair boss rewards at an enhanced value. Guaranteed to drop ancestral unique item, which ancestrals, as we know now, does not mean that they're GA. It just means they're max item power, like the 900 item power. And then has a chance to drop Ancestral unique items and mythic unique items. So I think Belial is going to be, even though already it's like the best way to farm uniques that you need and shit like that, I think it's going to be even better now for, like, for instance, since we're only maybe getting 1 or 2 uniques from opening Horde chest, this doesn't say anything about dropping other shit, like rare and magic items. So this might just be like the best way and the primary way to farm your uniques, because it sounds like it only drops uniques or mythics. It'll be interesting to see if this chest also drops the other stuff like charms and shit though. Yeah, overall, dude, I'm blown away at how much is changing. I'm like genuinely blown away. Now, do we know how many of these changes are actually gonna like feel good and be good? You know, like, and we got to temper expectations and understand that they're, you know, they're gonna have to fiddle with some of this stuff. Like, there's gonna be stuff that's really frustrating and drop rates that feel absurd initially, but not having a PTR and all that other stuff, which makes sense with how much is changing and they didn't want things to leak and whatever, means that they're gonna have to do some tinkering for a while to get things back on track. Try not to look into much before the release. I enjoy it being a mystery. Okay, sounds good, Sensui. Target grinding, yeah. But I don't remember looking at this before, so that is good to know that this is gonna be... Did they say whether Astaroth and Bartok are going to be greater layer bosses or like minor layer bosses?
Are now in the layer boss system, and the Butcher is now a greater layer boss in both.
Okay, so all they say is that they're layer bosses, and then they specifically say that the Butcher is a greater layer boss. Now, are they going to change the uniques that he can drop? Because if they don't, I think the Butcher boss fight is the best boss fight in the game. But if they don't change the uniques that he drops, or you can't customize that, then I'm still never gonna do it. Blood farts! We're about to hop off anyway. I was supposed to get off 30 minutes ago, but we kind of got distracted. Could you explain item quality thing? Yeah, so, like for instance, item power or item quality. So this shows both of them. The item power means that, you know how right now the max item power we can get on items, I think is what, 800 or 850? So an ancestral is just gonna tie directly into the item power. If it's 900 item power, then it's gonna be ancestral, versus before, ancestral meant that it had a greater affix on it. Now we'll be able to get ancestral of every tier of items. So you'll be able to get ancestral common items, magic items, rare items, legendary items, and mythic items. Which also means I don't know how mythics are gonna work if there's like a chance that you can get mythics that aren't ancestral. Because that used to also be a thing that whenever you got a mythic, it was a guaranteed greater affix, which is not the case anymore either. We always go on getting distracted, hell yeah. Dude, let me, guys, go follow Blood if you're not yet. The Necro Queen, and she's gonna be going hard in the paint for this next season. She's been going hard in the paint for every other season, so you can only expect it to be exponentially. Like earlier, an item showed item quality 6 out of 15. So here you have the item quality. So did you play during Sanctification? Infinite? 800 max right now, okay. Okay, so this is like a system that was introduced. Honestly, this is how, you know, when you like masterwork an item, you're increasing the item quality because you're increasing the stat rolls on each affix. So every time you masterwork it, you're technically increasing the item quality. But then when you fully masterwork it, it reaches a max quality that you can, and then you can like put that last masterworking on the stat that you want it to be on, so that gets an even higher boosted quality. Now, with Sanctification, back when they had it before, that was one of the things that could roll when you sanctified an item, is that it goes up to a certain tier and you can get that bonus item quality. And all that means is that it's like slightly increasing the stat rolls for each of your affixes on an item. What's up, Beef? There's another one. Also, Beef. Go follow Beef. Mr. Beef on the mic. One of the dopest homies I have. Spitting rhymes. Kicking ass. Beef, are you gonna be playing? Are you gonna come back to D4 for this? That's the real question. So yeah, that's all that adds to the percent cap. Yes. So like, for instance, on a mythic, like there's something like this 6 item quality probably didn't affect all skills, because there's like the item quality level that you need to get another skill level is going to be way higher than, but like for all stats, it increased it by 6%. So whatever the max was at before the item quality, which you can see here, the max was at 160. So that's 6%. I guess this is a good example because it hasn't been masterworked yet, or has it? Because I don't know what this is. Maybe it has been masterworked. I don't know. It's hard to tell because all this shit has changed. But yeah, you can just see that it's like increasing the cap from what it used to be to a little bit higher. And it just says +6 to item quality. It's not 6%. So I don't even know how these percentages work. Has to hit 50% plus to get +1 on that stat. Yeah, and I don't even know what the max item quality potential is, because this says 1 through 15, but there might be more rare transmutations you can do that have an even higher item quality cap. Like I think in with the Sanctification, the item quality went up to, I know it went up to at least 25 was the max you could get. But I don't know if that was tied to specific items. Like that could be another thing, is depending on the item you're putting it on. If it's like a two-handed weapon, it might have a higher item quality, since like the stats are also increased using a two-handed weapon. There might be a potential higher item quality roll that you can get. So yeah. Sanctified looks like, yeah, this is like, you know, because they're introducing a system similar to Sanctified, but not as crazy with the Herodric Cube. So it's not, you know, you're not going to get the crazy mythic aspects and shit like that, at least as far as I can tell. And there's different ways to modify your item so that you can be safer, or that you can make the item still modifiable after you, it's like gonna be called Transfigure now instead of Sanctified, but yeah, it's a similar system. Blue is on that is 1.8%, so 25 plus 25% high roll and 6 equals 30%. I don't know. That's way too much math for me to figure that out. I'll take your word for it though. But yeah, that's just what item quality is. Okay, let's move this back. Okay, I need to hop off. I need to get off. I have so much shit I need to do, and I need to go eat and do a bunch of other things too. So let's figure out who we're gonna raid. But for yellows, it's 1.31, so it's 6%. Yeah, and see, since you already had the high masterwork on that one stat, you're getting a higher boost because it's like a percentage scale to whatever that is already at. You get what I mean? So it's gonna look weird. And until we can actually like do it from the point of taking and transfiguring an item and adding item quality before you masterwork it, it's hard to get a good idea. But at the very least, because that might be one of the transfigures that make the item unmodifiable after. So you'll probably have to masterwork it first, but you'll be able to see what the max percentages and numbers are at after you masterwork it. Okay, who do we have? Who are we going to? Okay, Loathe is still live. Oh, Barricade's live. He's back for D4. We're probably gonna go to Immortalize, because I'm got to rate him. We're usually never on at the same time. And I'm pretty sure Loathe got rated by Cliptus or someone. I don't know what his normal view count is at, but we're gonna go into Immortalize. But like I said, it is 6%. The GA was extra 25%. Did they lower GA boost? That wasn't a GA. That was just the final masterworking. They don't that sword didn't have a GA on it at all. That's just a final masterworking. It's not an actual GA. But guys, like I said, my plan is to go live again later tonight. It kind of just depends on what I'm able to do and a bunch of other things. So most likely I'll see you in like 8 hours or something. But if not, I'll keep people updated in Discord and, you know, what the plan is for the weekend. But most likely this weekend I'm not going to be streaming at all because I have a lot of shit to get done. And I told people I was going to be like unavailable for the entire first week that this game comes out. So, or that the expansion comes out. So yeah, just like so people in here know what the plan is and all that shit. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day / night / morning / whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will see you guys hopefully very soon. Peace, y'all.
There was a cat without 3 bellies. The name of the cat was Whisker Kelly. His son was tried and his paw was fair. Meow, he's very cats.